Hello and welcome to the channel. Class 9th English Chapter 1 The Fun They Had Ncert Solutions. Thinking about the text. Calculate how many years and months ahead from now Margie's entry is. The answer is it is about 139 years and 5 months ahead of present time, and this will change with time. The time is to be calculated from 17 May 2157 to present day. Answer these questions in few words or couple of sentences. How old are Margie and Tommy? Margie is 11 and Tommy is 13 years old. What did Margie write in her diary? Margie wrote in her diary that today Tommy found a real book. Had Margie ever seen a book before? No, Margie had never seen a book before. Margie and Tommy had only a mechanical teacher, and the machine used to teach them in a fixed time daily. What things about the book did she find strange? Margie was surprised to see the yellow and crinkly pages of the book and found it awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen. Furthermore, when she turned back to the previous page, it had the same words on it which she read for the first time. What do you think a telebook is? A telebook is a book that can be read on screen. Where was Margie's school? Did she have any classmates? Margie's school was a computer in her home itself, right next to her bedroom. No, she didn't have any classmates. What subjects did Margie and Tommy learn? Margie and Tommy learned history, geography, and arithmetic. They had mechanical teachers. They were not real persons but televisions which had different subject sectors. Answer the following question with the reference to the story. I wouldn't throw it away. Who says these words? Tommy said these words. What does it refer to? It refers to the television screen which had a million books on it. What is it being compared with by the speaker? Tommy is comparing that television screen to the books of the earlier times in which words were printed on paper. He thought that after reading such books, one would have to throw them away. However, he would never have to throw away his television. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. Who does they refer to? They refers to the students who studied in the old kind of schools centuries before the time this story is set in. What does regular mean here? Regular refers to the mechanical teachers that Tommy and Margie had. What is it contrasted with? The mechanical teacher is contrasted with the teacher of the earlier times who was a human being. Answer each of these questions in a short paragraph or about 30 words. What kind of teachers did Margie and Tommy have? Margie and Tommy had mechanical teachers. They had large black screens on which all the lessons were shown and questions were asked, in addition to a slot in which the students had to put their homework and test papers. They had to write their answers in a punch code, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks instantly. Why did Margie's mother send for the county inspector? Margie had been given many tests in geography by the mechanical teacher, but there were no signs of improvement in her performance. It only kept getting worse, and in order to find out its reason, Maggie's mother sent for the county inspector. What did he do? The county inspector gave Margie an apple and then began working on the mechanical teacher. He took it apart and checked it thoroughly. Meanwhile, Margie hoped that the inspector would not know how to put the mechanical teacher together again. However, to her disappointment, he managed to reassemble it. Also, she slowed down the geography sector of the teacher, which was a little too quick for an average 10-year-old student. Why was Margie doing badly in geography? What did the county inspector do to help her? Margie was doing badly in geography because the geography sector of the mechanical teacher had been geared a little too quick for an average 11-year-old student. The county inspector assessed the problem accurately and told her that she could not be blamed for her poor performance. Besides, her overall progress was quite satisfactory. In order to rectify the situation, the county inspector slowed down the geography sector of the mechanical teacher to an average 11-year-old level. What had once happened to Tommy's teacher? Once the once the history sector of Tommy's teacher had blanked out completely. It had to be taken out for a month by the county inspector. Margie was thinking he would take her mechanical teacher too with himself to repair it. Did Margie have regular days and hours for school? If so, why? Yes, Margie had regular days and hours for school because her mother strongly believed that learning at regular hours helped little girls learn better. The mechanical teacher was always available at the same time every day except Saturdays and Sundays. How does Tommy describe the old kind of school? Tommy described the old kind of school as a special building where all the students assembled and studied the same concepts according to their respective ages. There were hundreds of students, like boys and girls, who not only studied but played, laughed, and shouted in the open yard and enjoyed with one another at the same time. Also, at the end of their day at school, they collectively left for their houses. How does he describe the old kind of teachers? Tommy said that the old kind of teacher was a man who taught the students inside a special building. He asked them questions and gave them homework. However, when Margie said that a man was not smart enough to be a teacher, he contradicted her by saying that his father knew as much as his mechanical teacher. Now answer each of these questions in 2 or 3 paragraphs or 100 to 150 words. What are the main features of the mechanical teachers and the school rooms that Margie and Tommy have in the story? Margie and Tommy had mechanical teachers. They had large black screens on which all the lessons were shown and questions were asked, in addition to a slot in which the students had to put their homework and test papers. They had to write their answers in a punch code, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks instantly. Their schools were in their homes itself, and they did not have any classmates. However, they had regular days and fixed duration of study in which they learned history, geography, and arithmetic. Why did Margie hate school? And why did she think old kind of school must have been fun? Margie hated school because she considered it to be a highly tedious task. A mechanical teacher used to teach her every day at a fixed time for regular hours, and as the story mentions of her poor performance in geography, she kept on losing interest in her studies. The part that she hated the most was inserting the homework and test papers in the particular slot and writing all the answers in a punch code. She disapproved of the method of the teaching and considered the old kind of school to be a fun filled place as she imagined all the students from the neighborhood coming together, laughing, shouting, and enjoying in the open yard of the school. She thought that learning the same concepts together, they could help each other with their homeworks and other things. She further imagined students sitting together in a classroom and going home together. At the end of the day, altogether, these aspects compelled Margie to think of the old kind of school to be much fascinating and interactive. Do you agree with Marky that schools today are more fun than the school in the story? Give reasons for your answer. Yes, I agree that schools today are more fun filled than the school in the story. In the story, it is not an interactive place where students communicate and express themselves in a free environment. The mechanical method of teaching, as well as the method of learning and writing answers in a punch code, is draining. The environment is solitary in nature, where the student is isolated from his own surroundings. Children develop a better understanding by listening to the teachers explaining lessons, and it is more interesting than reading the lesson on a mechanical device. It tends to create a healthy environment of learning where students can discuss and solve their problems at the same time, which is not possible with a mechanical teacher who is programmed to teach only in a certain way. Children also get the opportunity to explore the meaning of friendship and healthy relationships with others. Moreover, the moral values of obedience, kindness, respect, and sharing can be inculcated only in the free environment of a class. In addition to this, taking part in various sports and extracurricular activities contribute to a strong personality and overall development of the students. Now, thinking about language. Read this sentence taken from the story. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So the word complete is adjective. When you add ly in the end to ly in the end to it, it becomes an adverb. So find the sentences in the lesson which have the adverbs given in the box below. like awfully, sorrowfully, completely, loftily, carefully, differently, quickly, and nonchalantly. Answer. They turned the pages, which are yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen. Second, the mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. Number 3. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. Number 4. He added loftily, pronouncing the word carefully, centuries ago. Number 5. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. Number 6. I didn't say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. 7. Maybe, she said nonchalantly. Now, next question. Now use these adverbs to fill in the blanks in the sentences below. The report must be read carefully so that performance can be improved. At the interview, Samir answered our questions loftily, shrugging his shoulders. We all behave differently when we are tired or hungry. The teacher shook her head sorrowfully when Rabi lied to her. I completely forgot about it. When I complimented Revati on her success, she just smiled nonchalantly and turned away. The president of the company is awfully busy and will not be available to meet you. I finished my work quickly so that I could go out to play. Now make adverbs from these adjectives. Angry, angrily, happy, happily, merry, merrily, sleepy, sleepily, easy, easily, noisy, noisily, tidy, tidily, gloomy, gloomily. Now imagine that Maggie's mother told her, "You will feel awful if you don't finish your history lesson." So she could also say, "You will feel awful unless you finish your history lesson." So if you don't finish is equal to unless you finish. So unless means if not. Okay, it is the negative of if, that is unless. The sentences with unless or if not are negative conditional sentences. Notice in the below sentences. There are two parts in a conditional sentence. The following two tenses are used: future tense in one part and present tense in another part. There won't be any books left unless we preserve them. You won't learn your lessons if you don't study regularly. Tommy will have an accident unless he drives more slowly. So these are the conditions and their results. Okay. Now complete the following conditional sentences. Use the correct form of the verb. If I don't go to Anu's party tonight, she will be disappointed. If you don't telephone the hotel or to order food, you will miss your evening meal. Unless you promise to write back, I will not write to you. If she doesn't play games, any games, she will become inactive and lazy. Unless that little bird flies away quickly, the cat will pounce and eat it up. Now it is the writing time. A new revised volume of Isaac Asimov's short stories has just been released. So order one set and write a letter to the publisher, Mindframe Private Limited, 1632 Asaf Ali Road, New Delhi, requesting that a set be sent to you by value payable post, that is BPP, and giving your address. So your letter will have the following parts. Number one is the addresses of the sender and receiver, then the salutation, then body of the letter, and then the closing phrases and signature. Now how to write it? This is the answer. 15 by 21 GK International School, Faridabad, Haryana, 5 April 2017. Then the sender's address, then receiver's address, 1632 Asaf Ali Road, Messrs. Mindframe Private Limited, New Delhi 2. Respected sir, it has come to my knowledge that a newly revised volume of Isaac Asimov's short stories has recently been released. The stories were both interesting and entertaining for students. They enhance their morale and boost fellow feeling along with a sense of patriotism. I would like to place an order of one set of same via value payable post on the address mentioned above. Kindly send it to the earliest and please allow the reasonable discount mint for our institution. Request your packer to ensure proper safety of the set. Yours sincerely, then your signature. Okay. Thank you very much.